And where is the karma coming from? What is Saturn blocking there? The 12th house, as you see, is the last house before, the last house in astrology. So it's the house of dissolution, of letting go, of ending things. And Saturn there blocks the ability of people to let go of things. So it might be hard for them. They might have more retentive, desires there. You have to let go, but Saturn makes you keep it. And some people like that can be often very confused about what to do with their life, because they're not sure what to keep and what to let go of. And this kind of what to keep on, what to move on in life, and hence it comes like fluctuation in decisions. So they can't really decide what to do, and sometimes they have to do something. They kind of have denial about having to end something, because they try to say everything is okay, and they try to deny it and block it, but it's there, so it's a bit more difficult to let go of them, or to know what to let go of. This is one of the things they have to learn in this life to do, which is more difficult for them. And it can create a great state of being stuck and miserableness, when you're, should I do this, should I do that, and it's a painful position. Again, Saturn in any of the water signs is water houses, which are the emotional houses, is painful positions. The 12th house is the house of the subconscious. Is something that we're not aware of. And Saturn represents our vulnerabilities, weaknesses, everything that we're ashamed of, everything that we're uncertain of. And such people usually hide well, because 12th house is invisible house. They tend to either have skeletons that they've forgotten about, skeletons or subconscious traumas that they've hidden, that they've buried from past lives. In particular, 12th house rules past life. So some kind of pain, they cannot even define it. They cannot even understand where their pain and emotional difficulties comes from, because it's what 12th house is like the emotional, the subconscious, and Saturn is those difficult, those weaknesses, vulnerabilities. They're hidden, the person doesn't know them, and they tend to surface like fears, like paranoias, like worries, without even any reason. They might all of a sudden start feeling palpitations and worried by hearing something which is not at all big, but it triggers some distant buried memory in the subconscious from their past, of something that happened. Maybe maybe they drowned, and when they see water they start feeling panicky, or maybe they were very poor and they see someone begging on the street, and all of a sudden they get overwhelming sense of emotionalism and vulnerability that they can't understand where it's coming from, but it's a memory of past life which is kind of buried. They have a lot of buried emotional things. So people like that, going to psychologists, it helps them a lot to actually, they will resist a lot, unearthing those traumas from the past and those vulnerabilities. But they have to find ways to relax and to let go of those things, because it's so difficult for them. They retain it, they keep it. And also such people can very well hide their vulnerabilities, because 12th house is hidden house. And they might look very in control to others, very like everything is, together, while within they might be, falling apart a little bit, but they're good at hiding their weaknesses. They're good at hiding those vulnerabilities that Saturn represents. And usually people think others with Saturn in the 12th house much more lucky and happy in life, while the people with Saturn in the 12th house actually only they know what their real pain is and what's happening to them. But others always think them stronger and think of them that they're more successful, more happy within, but only they feel this. And Saturn is also, the 12th house is the house of the subconscious worlds, is the house of sleeping, is the house of dreaming. So such people might have blockages remembering their dreams. They might dream very little, or they might find it hard to sleep, even insomnia, or sometimes, to more extreme cases, they might be like nightmares, but usually it tends to be like more dulled, the states of subconsciousness when they fall asleep, unless you have your ascendant in Capricorn or Aquarius, because then Saturn becomes the ruler of the ascendant, which is you, so Capricorn, so Saturn becomes you. So then these people are highly imaginative, highly have a lot of vivid dreams, they live into the subconscious world, you know, a lot. But all others who have different ascendants, not Aquarius or Capricorn, the imaginative world, the subconscious world is kind of a blocked thing for them, you know. They're kind of hardcore realists, they don't believe in those spiritual things usually. Or they have some issues with that, you know, or they block these things, they block impressions from the spiritual realms. Even if they come or they see something or they hear something or those centers start awakening, they'll tend to block it. But for people who are more spiritually aware and mature and they're trying hard to work on their spiritualities because they feel lack there, because wherever Saturn is, you feel lack. And most people, when they feel lack of something, they'll block it. That's it, it doesn't exist. They overcompensate, so the invisible, the imaginative doesn't exist, overly realistic, you know. But others who are more aware and they feel this lack there when it comes to those invisible and spiritual realms and this imagination, they try to work very hard in order to develop those. These are the people who are a bit more, you know, up the scale. So, but they'll see a lot of blockages there, a lot of blockages. So people who are trying to learn to meditate, who are trying to learn to relax, the 12 houses, take it easy, escape from the responsibilities of the world, they might find it very hard being able to let go of and to relax and to meditate. They have to try harder and harder and harder. People who are trying to meditate with Saturn might take them years before they unlock those higher realms or before they start communicating with those higher realms, you know. But they have a lot of self-discipline when it comes to those things, because Saturn is where you gain a lot of self-discipline. So such people can overage, usually after 40, 50 onwards, start developing a lot spiritually with certain exercises. It takes them a lot of work, but always at later age. When Saturn is there, it says you get in contact with the higher worlds, with your intuition, the 12 houses intuition, later on in life through special exercise, through a lot of hard work, trying over and over again. And so this delayed or denied spiritual awareness of invisible spiritual worlds can either make you very materialistic or make you work very hard in that direction. You know, they're both ways. If something is lacking, you can compensate one way or another. Also 12 houses, the ability to stay alone, to have privacy. And to such people, this sometimes is denied because Saturn has blocking influence. So they might either be fearful of staying alone, or they might be fearful, or they just might not, they might have so much work or things to do that they never have privacy. There are people always around them because Saturn tends to block things there. And Saturn, you can work through them, through the difficult karma of Saturn by working, by taking up a profession which is similar to the house that Saturn is, because then you work. Saturn needs a lot of repetition to learn the lessons, and when you do some job, you do those repetitions naturally, you know. So you burn the karma of Saturn. So people with Saturn in the 12th house might be might have careers that are charitable, to giving away to others. 12th house is the house of charity, helping the underdog, helping. 12th house is spending and giving, and if you make it your job spending and giving, then you don't have to have some big expenses otherwise, because Saturn can bring some big expenses when it's in the 12th house, because you have to pay back karma by giving. But if you work in charities, or if you always separate a little bit from your pension or salary or whatever and give to some charitable organizations or people in need, you can work through that karma. A 12th house is also the house of secluded institutions, hospital, prisons, libraries, scientific research places. So people like that can be researchers, scientists as well. A lot of scientists have these positions, a lot of medical doctors, people who work in hospitals and prisons as well, people who, libraries, such kind of places which are more secluded. And 12th house rules foreign places, far away from home. Like it's again type of seclusion from your birthplace of birth, the first house, from your closest, nearest, and dearest. So such people might have a karma to work through in foreign places. It's usually work karma, so they go and work in foreign places, and this way they can pay it off, you know. Usually this is an indication often that you might be blocked in the early part of your age to be in foreign countries, but later on, through career, through work, through responsibilities, you're taken there and you give a lot. But again, I said, if you're Aquarius or Capricorn ascendant, then Saturn doesn't block those things in the 12th house. It's actually, you become more of them. You tends to be more spiritual. The person tends to live abroad from young age. Tends to, you know, all those things that we talk about, the person becomes Saturn, so it doesn't block it. But this is what Saturn in the 12th house usually brings. Just be careful, those buried fears, buried uncertainty, you know, and try to work through those. There is emotional issues for those people to work through. As I said, it's very possible to work through the Saturn karma by working in foreign countries, refugee camps, hospitals, you know, immigration work, research work, secluded work, you know, or some kind of business that is about escaping reality, fantasy world, in the cinema, in the art, you know, in the fantastic kind of things that make the mind dissociate a bit from reality for a moment, you know. So thank you so much, and you can share your impressions and what you think. Thank you.